What's up, everybody? This is Brody, Charlie, and Tudong Dylan from the Talk Punch YouTube channel and podcast, where we talk movies, do lists, rankings, and more, and you are about to listen to the Keeping Up with the Cardassians podcast. Enjoy!
Filling your ears, no latinum required. Keeping Up with the Cardassians. Always profit-free. Follow us on YouTube. Download at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey, how you doing?
Did you go to the Donald Trump School of Dance over there?
No, we're just gonna listen to Ave Maria for 45 minutes, and I'm just gonna go like this for the next 45 minutes. You know, if you didn't hear about that, you got to look it up, man.
I did not hear about that.
It's crazy. Welcome to Keeping Up with the Cardassians, your source for all the upcoming Donald Trump dance moves.
No, you would find that on Righty Tighty Lefty Loosey, not this podcast.
This is true.
Well, no, we can cover the dance moves here. We just can't cover the politics behind the dance moves.
Oh, okay. Fair.
Yeah. This is Nick.
This is Ron.
This is Joe.
And we are back this week. As you know, we are a podcast that focuses on reviewing movies, TV shows, video games, and so much more. But we have a particular affinity for Star Trek, which is how we got our podcast name. And we're working our way through Season 3 of The Next Generation right now. We got 2 episodes to review with you today. Hollow Pursuits, our first introduction of Reginald Reg Barclay, and The Most Toys. We're going to hit those up in the second half of the episode. But in the first half of the episode, we need to ask you an important question. Why haven't you listened to the Nana visitor interview from last week yet, folks?
What are you thinking?
That's true.
What is wrong with you? How
What?
dare you?
I think a lot of people have.
Yeah, they have. They have. What a truly wonderful interview that was with Nana yet again. Like, she just continues to blow my mind.
She's just so impressive.
She is, and she's just a wonderful. She's a wonderful human being to also understand that the fans are the lifeblood of Star Trek too, right? So she'll invest her time and energy into these fans, not out of any sense of moral obligation or anything else, but just because she truly appreciates them. And I always felt appreciated by her, and I hope she feels the same.
She
way.
seems to value that, which is I think a lot of actors probably forget. Not Star Trek actors necessarily, but actors in general forget is that their art, they make their art for people like us.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think Star Trek actors seem very unique in pop culture because once you're in, it's like this fraternity, and once you're in for good.
Yes.
And there are a lot of people who really take that to heart, and there are some folks who don't appreciate it as much as maybe they could.
Yeah.
But Nana Visitor is certainly one who is very deliberate with her time and energy within the fan community, and we appreciate her. I appreciate.
Oh, absolutely.
I appreciate the fact that she's come on a couple times, and she's now moved into best friend of the show status.
She has been promoted. If you have listened to the show in the past, you notice we say friend of the show Jonathan Frakes or friend of the show Armin Shimmerman. She's now best friend of the show.
Best friend of the show. She's our favorite. We love her, and we're so happy we had her on the podcast.
Those are great discussions.
Yeah.
So sad.
So if you haven't told your friends about our little visit with her too, make sure you do that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can find it anywhere you get audio podcasts. You can find it if you want to watch us fawn in awe over all of the greatness that is Nana Visitor and all the details she had about her book.
Yep.
Go to YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. Go to YouTube. We'd love to hear you. You can also call in and offer us your feedback on that, 734-494-0980. So if you have any feedback on that interview you want to share, that'd be great. I know there were some that I'm going to just kind of lift up here. I'm not opening the hailing frequencies.
Why not open it up? Crack it open.
Oh, gosh. I can't open the hailing frequencies. I'm not ready.
Open hailing frequencies.
Okay. Frequencies are open. Dang it. Okay, the frequencies are open. I have no choice. But, there were a couple people who commented on our interview, specifically through YouTube, and there was a couple people said something like they quoted something that she said, "If you don't want to do this, there are 10 more behind you willing to be exploded."
Exploited.
Exploded.
That's a Freudian slip.
Yeah.
But like the comment, nothing fills the bosses with more confidence than the reserve of labor, which is really true, right? They can go to people. But someone commented they struggled with their time lately and hadn't listened to the bitch. And Nana reminded me I needed to catch up, which is great. Someone noted that it was a great interview, and she says she's a solid human being and just ordered her book based off our interview. And then someone just noted that they loved her very much. So that was great to
Look
see.
it up. The Keeping Up with the Cardassians sales bump.
I know.
I know, right? Yeah, it's at least one.
We got one.
We got one.
Well, plus the ones that we ordered.
That's true.
That's true. That's true.
We have several.
Yeah.
Dare I say a handful.
Mm-hmm.
Handful of books.
Mm-hmm. And we did get another text message actually from Annette.
Hey, Annette.
So Annette and I have started a little bit of a war, and in the
I don't know that Annette started anything.
Well, I mean, you guys actually started it with the Ohio comments, and then I threatened
Which we stand by.
I threatened to burn her house down.
Hold on, I think the rest of the country's recognized Ohio because isn't that a term now for garbage?
It is.
Yeah.
It was. I think we've passed that in the bullet train of pop culture slang. I think something being Ohio, it is whizzed past us.
But Annette says she dropped in somewhere around episode 20, so keep that in mind. But she says, my true message is what a great, great interview with Nana. I'm going to listen to it again and probably at least one more time after that. Well done. So thank you.
Thanks,
we appreciate it. Thank you very much. We love you. You're amazing. You're amazing. So,
we love all of our fans and listeners. Or most of them. Or some of them.
Some of them.
Few.
I mean, it's easy when you have 3.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, they're hard to love.
Especially when they live in Ohio.
In Ohio.
That is true. I would never threaten arson.
Yeah,
personally.
I didn't threaten it. I just basically notated that I will do something. I didn't threaten to do it. I said
promised.
I will. Yes.
Oh, you're playing the old, that's not a threat, that's a promise.
Exactly. Come on. Anyways, there's some other stuff we got to get into today. There's obviously pop culture news that's been going on, and we have more Star Trek to talk with you about. I wanted to share with you some news about Venom: The Last Dance. You sound very excited about this.
Well, I'm concerned.
I haven't watched any of them yet.
So right now, the movie has a 37% approval rating. It's on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's killing it in the international box office right now. On its opening weekend alone, it achieved a global box office of 175 million.
Wow.
But domestically, it only earned 51 million. And that's less than the predecessors. The first one opened at 80 million. The second one opened at 90 million.
The second one made that much.
Yeah.
Somewhere Todd Phillips is shaking his fist.
I know. He's so angry because
they should have made it a musical.
Oh my goodness. So I think that's pretty impressive that it's still making as much money as it really is.
It's surprising because have you met somebody who liked the Venom movies?
They're okay.
I don't think I've seen anyone who's seen it. You've seen the
I've seen
movies?
I saw the first 2.
I have not seen any.
The one with Woody Harrelson, the second one.
I don't like Woody Harrelson.
I know, that's definitely a take of yours.
He's great in Cheers.
Okay, in Cheers. I mean, just in general, I think he's overrated.
And what's the movie, the comedy he was in?
White Man Can't Jump?
Cheers?
No, the movie.
Cheers, the movie?
Was it the Amish one?
Oh. Kingpin?
Zombieland?
Kingpin?
He's in Zombieland?
He's in Zombieland, but he was in Kingpin as well.
Kingpin's great.
Kingpin's good.
Indecent Proposal? Come on, man. We've talked.
Oh yeah, we couldn't make that movie with anybody else.
Now Nick, You See Me?
Did you just call Indecent Proposal a comedy?
No, I think he's just rattling off Woody Harrelson.
I think he called it a comedy.
I found that Woody Harrelson has gotten to the point though where he doesn't really do a lot of starring roles. He's more of like a cameo actor now. Like where he just pops in for a minute and pops out.
Because he can't really act.
He's a good actor. The People versus Larry Flint is a great movie.
What year did that come out?
96.
Okay, I rest my case. Almost 30 years ago, my friend.
Jesus
Gosh,
Christ.
that's a weird thought,
Oh
isn't
my
it?
God.
White Men Can't Jump, 1992.
I mean, what are we doing here? That's
Kingpin, 96. Actually, he was in War for the Planet of the Apes, and that was solid. That was 2017. He was really good in that.
I didn't see it.
He was the antagonist in that movie. It was really good.
He played an ape?
No, he was fighting the apes,
Oh.
but he was a bad guy.
You damn dirty apes.
Yeah. And they're like, Woody, you're pretty dirty yourself. And he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's true. That's true. I am pretty dirty. He's a scary looking man. So, anyways, it's doing really well. And
What was the budget for that film?
Venom 3?
Yeah.
Let me find out for you. It was
$29.50.
It was
$29.99 or $2.50.
$120 million. So it's already made its money globally.
Okay.
Excellent.
So it'll be just fine. I don't know. I think this means it's the end of them though, because
It is called The Last Dance.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was designed to be the last Venom movie, which I don't understand how you can create bad guy movies without having the good guy involved in them. Like, there's no Spider-Man, there's no mention of Spider-Man, there's nothing like that in any of these.
The
Venom
Joker.
movies.
The Joker had two movies. There's no Batman in them.
Yeah,
Well, Bruce Wayne was
that's
in
not
one.
a really good argument because what was the Joker 2's box office?
$29.50.
Well, I mean, the first one had no Batman, and it was a very good film.
It had Bruce Wayne.
It did have a baby Bruce Wayne in there, little kid Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And an Alfred.
But
no Commissioner Gordon.
In earnest, it had no.
Ernest did not have Batman in it. No.
No, that would have been.
Ernest Saves Christmas with Batman would have been incredible.
No, Ernest Saves the Joker too. That's we put.
Oh my gosh, the Ernest movies were so good.
We've covered Ernest movies on this podcast.
We have covered Ernest movies.
Yes, we have.
I want to do an Ernest movie review, and we all pick our favorite Ernest movie.
Ernest Goes to Jail.
Ernest Goes to Jail. Mine is Ernest Saves Christmas.
Those are the only two I know.
What about Ernest Goes to Camp?
Ernest Goes to Camp is solid.
I'll go Goes to Camp.
Yeah, there's like other ones like Ernest Scared Stupid and all that. And,
Isn't that redundant?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
but the scene in Ernest Saves Christmas where he goes to Vern's house and he's helping him put up a Christmas tree and he's like trashing his house and you see it from Vern's point of view. Oh my gosh, that scene is hilarious. And he's like trying to pull the plug out of the wall and he pulls out all the
how do you remember that? Have you seen that recently?
Is it in your Christmas movie?
It's in my rotation.
Rolodex.
It's in my rotation. It's good, man. It's good. It's solid.
I remember. I couldn't tell you any scene from any Ernest movie, but I remember liking the three that we mentioned.
Yeah.
Now that you mentioned Goes to Camp,
and there's another one. What was the fourth one we mentioned? Ernest Scared. I don't remember seeing that one.
You know how much Ernest Saves Christmas grossed at the box office?
Oh my God!
Its budget, by the way, was $6 million. But how much did it gross?
103.
I'm going to say 98.
This is 1988.
Oh, 88?
Okay, I'm going to say $46 million.
67.
Okay, $28 million.
Oh, dang.
Okay,
video sales, though.
Video sale, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Rental? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a huge one on VHS.
I know we rented it a ton of times.
Yeah, it was huge.
That and Goes to Camp.
Can I ask you a question as somebody who, both of you, because you both used to work at video stores, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, why, if something happened to a film, why was it like $150 to replace the movie?
Rental pricing. That was kind of before art, at least my time, because I started there right when DVD started to really kind of come out.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the way for the studios to make a lot of money really quick. And they didn't see because they could sell it to the video stores. It's like HBO, so they released it to HBO kind of in a way, so they could get that top dollar for the video right off the bat, and then they released it for home video, and it just kept a cycle going.
Okay, so it was released to the stores at an elevated price per unit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I think what it really boils down, it's the equivalent of, remember when Napster and all those things were a big deal and people were downloading music and getting sued. And they'd be like, I downloaded 10 songs and I got charged $10 million by the, I got a $10 million settlement against me. What it boils down to is the thought process is because they no longer have that video in their repertoire, they're not going to collect all the revenue from it, so therefore the damages is $150. The assumption is you would have lost like $150 in revenue.
But I will tell you
from
what,
each VHS.
I could not understand as a youngster in 1991 why Star Trek 6 was $111 on VHS. I wanted to buy it. I'm like, let me buy it.
I'm like, why are movies so expensive?
Yeah. And then you had to wait 6 months for it to be.
But it was in that.
I forgot how expensive because
it was in that
we
dark.
would record our stuff.
Oh,
TV.
you're one of those.
Oh.
Yeah, we would record off HBO.
You hear that, FBI?
Yeah.
Someone
didn't pay attention to the FBI warning.
My uncle Art would do that. He would record them at his house, and then he would give us other recordings. So
and now you're throwing people under the bus.
My uncle Art passed away, so he's good.
Oh, he's gonna get.
He's safe.
Arrested. Postmortem.
Yeah, he's safe now. He good.
How long ago did he die?
Oh gosh, when I was in high school. So.
Oh, okay. So it's probably. Did you think he made it to heaven?
Yeah, he's solid now. He's good. He's
Okay.
in. His paperwork has been signed. It's been filed.
All his.
So they let thieves in heaven.
Video sins are.
Yeah. Oh, you'd be surprised.
They cleared all that up in accounting.
They
all
did.
the video
they cleared
sins.
it all up. So,
he's good.
the thing is, when I left Blockbuster, I didn't leave Blockbuster. When I was fired from Blockbuster at the end there.
For stealing the Xbox?
Yeah, for stealing Xboxes. I didn't actually do it. We've already talked about this.
Patreon.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think we talked about it on here. I didn't do it. I had to take lie detector tests. I passed both of them. Leave me alone.
But those aren't admissible
They're
in court
not
now.
admissible in court. They weren't then either, but they helped to decide if they want to pursue charges or not, and they didn't want to pursue
I would have
charges.
still pursued.
They had
just
no
based on
evidence.
personality.
It was all
Yeah.
it was all circumspect evidence.
Circumstantial?
Circumstantial. There you go.
Defense didn't want to put him on the.
If you can't even tell the story without stuttering.
I can't.
They would have eaten you alive on that
can't,
stage.
man. I would have been screwed. So, anyways, at the end there, when we did the thing where they got rid of the late fees or whatever, but after so long, if you didn't return it, you basically just bought the film. I think we were only charging like $30
Oh my god!
at that point.
We're just gonna get rid of our revenue stream.
It was such a dumb move. That was a desperation move, right? At that point, they were already losing a ton of business to Netflix. Blockbuster had a chance to buy Netflix. They decided, hey, this ain't gonna last. We're not buying Netflix.
Did they just pick the wrong column in a meeting somewhere? They're like, okay, we have late fees. We could buy Netflix. We have all of this stuff that could make us money, or over here we could just get rid of it. And they're just like, yeah, we'll just do that.
Yeah,
we'll just not.
Think about it. That's before Netflix had online viewing. It was just
there was just mail in DVDs.
It was just mail in. There was no online streaming yet.
It's about bad business decisions. So all right, so Blockbuster then had to overbuy the product, which means they didn't make as much money on the units that they needed to in order to succeed. Nor were they getting the item returned back, so they weren't getting revenue off the return rentals. I mean, no wonder they went under.
I guarantee you, some executive was like, "We totally punted that one. That's on us."
It's ridiculous. Blockbuster could be still in business today if they just would have made better decisions. They would be all online by now.
I wonder how they went in debt.
Well, yeah, their debt really sunk them, but
they could have a streaming service, a movie-based streaming service.
So they tried to follow
How cool would it be to have a Blockbuster app and see that logo?
Well, they initially tried to do the Netflix thing. They did do where you could have the movies mailed to them and you could mail them back to the store. And it made it where it's like, well, if you didn't want to wait, you could just go directly to the store and get it. You wouldn't have to wait in the mail. They tried it, but it was already too late by then. The damage was already done. They had already lost so much business.
Because they were millions of dollars in debt.
They were screwed. And a big part of that was when they did the video game stores, the Game Rush stores and all that. They invested a ton of money into that and didn't continue investing in it, because if they would have, that would have saved the company alone, because that was the era of video game stores were blowing up. GameStop their stock was through the roof. Now GameStop's going to be lucky to last another 2 or 3 years. But Blockbuster was just a series of mismanagement mistakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's books written about how to kill a company in 5 years.
And Blockbuster wrote it.
You know how many chapters it is? 1. And you know what the chapter is? If you have a chance to purchase your competition, do it.
Yeah, so Warner Brothers
don't pass on an opportunity to buy your competition.
Or at least buy them out and then close them like other businesses do, right? Or you know what? Be smart about this.
Imagine if Netflix was just Blockbuster branded.
Yeah.
They would have buy Blockbuster Video, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the blue and yellow could still be around. Because you would absorb all of the talent, all of the decision making, all of the everything.
So
It could be.
The original founder of Netflix tried to sell it to Blockbuster for $50 million.
Jesus
And
H.
John
Christ.
Antiaco, the CEO of Blockbuster, deemed it a niche business and said the .com hysteria is completely overblown.
What's his name?
John Antiaco.
Can you Google if that guy's alive?
Yes, let me.
Are you gonna try to get him on the show?
No, I'm gonna see if he's killed himself or unalived himself.
American businessman.
Hold on, he runs Warner Brothers now.
Sounds like he runs Paramount.
Here's the brands he's been the CEO of. This isn't really a good.
Oh my god.
He was CEO for iconic brands like Circle K.
Oh wow.
Taco Bell.
Okay.
Nice.
Blockbuster Video.
Mhm.
TGI Fridays.
Oops.
PF Chang's.
Oh.
All those companies were struggling, and now he's a managing partner of Bricks Holdings LLC, whatever that is.
I love PF Chang's fried rice.
Yeah, but PF Chang's is struggling.
Well, I'm gonna go there after the show.
Okay, well there you go.
They're gonna
You're
have
going to Fairlane Mall to go there?
Well, there's one at 6 and Haggerty.
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right by the not Borders, Barnes and Noble. It's right in there. It's not next to it, but it's in that plaza.
Yeah. Thank God Barnes and Noble's still around.
So in 2004, Antiaco oversaw the launch of a DVD subscription service called Blockbuster Online. By the end of 2006, it had 2 million subscribers. In 2007, they tried to expand it and rebrand it Total Access. But by then, Blockbuster was already losing to Netflix, and it didn't really work. In 2007, Antiago and Hastings met to the possibility of Netflix purchasing Blockbuster Online. So it turned around. So originally,
they just have the meeting and tell him they had him in, and then they sat him down and just told him to go fuck himself?
Well, yeah, because originally Netflix came to them in 2000. Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph said, "We'll give you $50 million for our company. You can have it." And I said no. And in 2007, Blockbuster came to Netflix and said, "Hey, would you buy us? Buy our company?"
Meanwhile, Family Video is just chucking along, going, "There's some fingers, guys."
Yeah, but even Family Video only lasts another 10 years, which is
I would tell you,
still 10 years.
Netflix,
right around then, though, they were booming.
Yeah, they were.
The current value of Netflix is estimated somewhere in the $325 billion range.
Isn't that
Ironically, they run with a massive deficit too.
Yeah, all major
I know,
which is kind of a weird business model. But
you could have purchased $325 billion for $50 million.
Time travel.
John Antiaco's net worth as of this moment is $11.3 million. So
it's all Netflix stock, ironically.
He's not doing bad for himself, though. I mean, but it is just so funny. It'd be interesting to go back.
I guarantee you he owns Netflix stock in his portfolio.
He'd be dumb not to. It'd be interesting to go back and review these companies that have failed and to see if you can pinpoint a moment where it's like, you're done. Right? To me, not purchasing Netflix was the you're done moment for Blockbuster. Like, was there a moment for Toys R Us? I know they held massive debt from the other
massive debt.
Right. But again, what was the moment where it got out of control? You know, like there had to have been a moment.
Also Burger King. I would like to know how Burger King failed in the fattest nation of all time.
And with good food.
Yeah.
Good food is legit.
Superior burgers.
Oh, for sure. Superior onion rings.
And chicken.
Yep.
But like you think about like Kmart failed, right?
Well, that was competition.
Yeah.
Yes and no, though.
No,
like,
that's competition.
There was a moment in there where Blockbuster or Kmart probably had a choice on what they were going to do, and they didn't make the right choice, right? Like,
no, I see Kmart. Okay, so I see there's Walmart and Target and then Kmart is the third party in the.
But it didn't used to be. Kmart and Sears used to be the stores you would go to buy stuff, right? And now neither of them exist.
They didn't.
Well, they didn't really grow or update their branding. Because Target in probably the mid to late 90s figured out who they were and what they were, and they immediately started to brand and market towards that group of people.
Yep.
And Walmart did essentially the same thing.
Yeah, that's true.
They found their customer base and they marketed to their customer base.
Yeah. That's true. So I just for kicks, I looked up some major companies that have failed. They got BlackBerry on there. iPhone killed it, right?
Yeah.
But that was also another. There's
But
a really
Samsung,
cool.
I mean, Samsung still
Samsung's
kicks
around, it's
around.
kicking, and it's the
LG,
number one
Google.
phone seller out there. But BlackBerry had a chance to rebound. There's a really cool documentary on.
I've heard about this
BlackBerry out there.
documentary.
It's really good. It's worth watching. Where they had the chance to be like, no, look, let's evolve. Let's change our phone. And they're like, no, that's a niche. The iPhone isn't niche. No one's going to stick with that. Kodak was on there as well.
Kodak was a great company for a long
this
time.
I think that's just technology advancing past
Right.
their main product.
Right.
Because they were all, and it was like mostly analog film, and they didn't.
But then their issue was because Kodak made cameras, they should have transitioned into digital cameras, right? Like
Creating lenses.
Like when you go to the store, you're not going to get a
Video
Kodak
cameras.
camera, you get a Canon for photography. It should be Kodak, but they didn't invest in that area. Xerox is another one.
Uh-huh.
Xerox is still around, but they're not the company they could have been because of a lot of their decisions they made. Segway was on here. Yeah, whatever.
Segways are just stupid.
Yeah, they are. MySpace is on here. Borders Books.
That's it.
Borders was awesome.
Borders was awesome.
Pan American Airway, Pan Am.
It was no media play though.
So
No.
Tower Records, J.C. Penney. So
Penny's still
the
around.
penny.
Penny still has great prices, by the way. If you go to the one over at 12 Oaks.
but they are run down.
Oh, yeah, they're
They look like Sears did 15 years ago before Sears.
They
went
have
down.
pennies. There's not a single J.C. Penney that's been updated in the last 2 decades.
they don't have the money for it.
Oh, we didn't mention Radio Shack as well. Radio Shack was another.
Pay less shoes.
Pay less. Nokia, right? Like I found a really good one. It's got all these MySpace, Commodore Corporation, Sears, Macy's,
If you're from the area, Farmer Jack.
Hitachi,
Oh,
Remember Arbor
Arbor Drugs. Yep.
Arbor Drugs, Perry Drugs,
and Perry Drugs?
Yep.
Toshiba, Radio Shack, Motorola, Borders, Palm. Remember the Palm pockets?
Oh, yeah, I had a Palm Pilot.
I had a Palm Trio, and I loved it.
I had a Trio, too. That thing was dope.
I
little ball?
loved it. Yes, it was amazing. Sony.
I could always find the spot on the Trio.
Circuit City.
Circuit City. That's a good one.
Abercrombie and Fitch Hummer.
Circuit City.
Ooh, Abercrombie's in some hot water.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
I didn't hear about it.
Basically, it's basically like white P. Diddy stuff.
Oh, great.
Except the guy's gay. Well, P. Diddy's gay, so.
I think P. Diddy is anything that moves, I will do.
Yeah.
Does it have a pulse? I'm in.
What is that, pansexual?
But
Or it's like,
but I mean, the guy from Abercrombie, he was like, what are they, grooming underage models? Which, if you've ever seen any of their marketing, I'm sure you'd be shocked.
yeah, right.
Real shock.
Exploiting men too. It was exploiting.
Well, yeah, because he was gay.
Yeah.
Or he is gay.
He is gay. Yeah. 8 men are claiming the abuse at this point in time.
So.
Wow, we are talking about some uplifting material.
I know.
Bankruptcies, abuses. I love it.
Off topic for a minute. I gotta ask you guys a question.
Ooh, I love random questions that I don't know that are going to be asked.
Would you rather
Yes.
Love it.
be on the road with 100% 16-year-olds or
Well-
100% driving on the road with 100% 16-year-olds?
I don't like. Oh,
Or-
okay. You're driving on the road, and all the other drivers are 16 year
Yeah,
olds.
you're on 696,
Okay.
and it's all 16-year-olds or all 87-year-olds.
All 87-year-olds or 16-year-olds. I'm taking the 16-year-olds all day.
No.
I'm
Ooh.
taking the 16-year-olds.
Think about your answer here, man, because you got the repercussions of your answer.
Yeah, I know. I'm confident in my answer.
Okay.
Listeners, if you have any
I'm going
734
87-year-olds
494-0980 and Y87-year-olds.
because and this is it a specific time or it's just all the time?
All the time.
Okay, because they're going to bed I can do all my shit after 5 o'clock
Yeah,
or
but
4
those
o'clock.
16-year-olds aren't on the road until 5, 6 o'clock at night.
But it's the
Yeah, but
summer.
I'm working during that time.
And it's the summer.
Some of us
What's
work
the summer?
Some of us have a regular job where we have to work during the day. I don't have the
Oh,
I
I
don't
only
have-
work Sundays.
Your commute to work is tough.
I know.
I work for an hour on Sundays. That's all I do.
That's so easy.
It is pretty. The commute is rough though. I gotta go all the way across that parking lot.
And you got like the nicest boss ever too.
Yeah, he's
Just
pretty,
forgives
I don't know.
everything.
Does he ever like come up? Does the Old Testament God ever come out?
Well, he's certainly, but he's not a micromanager. Never shows up. You
That's
never
true.
see him.
truly a work from home boss. He's never around. It's pretty awesome.
Did you ever get that teams him?
Exactly.
Oh shoot! That'd be funny if they're like every single meeting. You're just like he never shows up.
You're
But the
always like,
one time you're like, oh shit, he's here.
you're always calendaring it, and you're like, well, it looks like we can leave early.
Yeah,
Boss ain't here.
5-minute rule. I'm going to 87-year-olds. They're going to be on during the time that I'm at work, and really all I have to worry about is maybe a little bit of rush hour. But in the evenings, roads are almost clear. And if you're 87 and you're out during evening hours, I'm going to guess that you're pretty with it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with 87-year-olds as well because I thought about this for a while. Some of them have the same struggles. Like if you get on the freeway with an 87-year-old and a 16-year-old, neither one of them know how to merge, right?
No.
But I'm gonna put money on the 87-year-old will have the courtesy to be out of the left lane though on the freeway,
Keep dreaming.
and I don't think the 16-year-old would.
Keep dreaming.
I think the 16-year-old is also more likely to be on the phone when they drive than the 87-year-old.
Oh, see,
Oh, yeah.
I think the people
I've seen
who
an
are worse.
87-year-old on like a rotary phone.
I was gonna say, I think the people who are worse on the roads with phones are like the boomer generation. They are terrible.
I think
if you
it's
ever pay attention
I think
to
it's
them.
anybody 30 and below, judging from my drive to work sometimes.
I'm with Mr. Rob.
And when I go down, when I have to drive every day for 10 hours a day,
Okay.
I'm gonna. it's the younger
I was gonna
generation.
say you're on the road most of the time, so you'd see it more than
I
me.
see a lot of
Yeah.
it still from the younger folks.
Well,
Why would you pick the younger of the two options?
because I feel like again they're going to be a little more. I think a 16-year-old is more hyper vigilant on the road than an 87-year-old or 82-year-old.
Overconfidence.
But they're 16. That means they have
If you're 16, you're
less.
great.
They have less than a year. Just by even if you get your license on 1/1 at 16, you have less than a year's driving experience. Like real, I have my license experience.
And with the 87-year-olds, you always have like the risk of them just flying off the road, and there's more space for you.
Yeah,
That's a good point too. That's actually a very good point.
I would also feel less bad if one of them died in a fiery car crash because they've lived 87 years. They had nothing ahead of them.
That's a good
If
point.
I see
these are good points.
if I see a crash, and I'm not saying I'm running them off the road. I'm just saying
Just randomly.
if they get into a car crash, there's fatal car crashes all the time. If I see one and and now we're in just everybody's 16, I would feel bad. Like, that's a life that could have been.
I know. Have you met some 16-year-olds?
I know.
I
Although if you're 16 and you listen to this podcast, you're one of the best.
And if you listen while you're driving, 10 and 2, get off your phone.
Focus on the road.
Focus on the road.
They actually don't recommend 10 and 2 anymore.
Yeah, it's 9 and 3.
It's the airbag.
No, 10 and 2. Take the risk. Live dangerously.
I want to see them punch themselves in the face.
That'd be awesome. They just two giant like fist prints right there on their head. They've been T-Rexed. Sorry. Anything else, gentlemen? Or shall we go into the world of Trek?
Let's go in the world of Trek, I think.
Let's go into the world of Trek. Dun dun dun. That's my going to Trek music. I don't know. It doesn't really mean anything.
I did not like it.
I do not. Okay. Gentlemen, shall we go into Trek?
Let's do it.
Oh, Billy.
Wow. Okay, it got loud in here too. All right, we're going into Trek Hollow Pursuits. Oh my gosh, the A-Team is on board the Starship Enterprise.
Dun,
Dun dun dun.
But
Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da.
Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Oh, I could
do
do
do do do do do do.
And this is where it hits.
I love that part. Oh, the guitar solo there. Oh, so good. Anyways, Hollow Pursuits.
I don't like theme songs like that anymore.
They do not.
The Enterprise is transporting some biological samples from a epidemic on a planet, and the sample containers are leaking. So LaForge calls in Reginald Barclay to take care of it, but LaForge can't stand Barclay. LaForge hates him, or as they call him, Broccoli, Lieutenant Broccoli. Riker can't stand him. No one likes him. No one likes him. Not even Picard likes him. Picard calls him Lieutenant Broccoli at one point. But Picard is like, you know what, LaForge? You are a leader of men. You shall take Barclay under your wings and care for him. So LaForge builds up a relationship with him. All the while, Barclay is terrible with human beings and finds his time in the holodecks all the time where basically everyone on the ship is idiots except for Deanna Troi, who's just horny all the time and wants to sleep with him in the holodeck. He's fine with that, though.
Shocker.
Barclay is
Shocked.
okay
I'm
with
shocked.
that. Barclay suggests that he actually go to real counseling, and it doesn't really work because Troy ain't trying to get in his pants. He likes
He's
holodeck
so
Troy.
scared around her.
Yeah, he likes holodeck Troy. So, anyways, the whole thing is about them trying to get confidence back into Barclay. And by the end of this episode, it's Barclay who's able to suggest, well, maybe this virus is transmitted by people, and maybe when we touch things, it causes issues in our starship because the starship is starting to have all these issues, and they're basically going to die if they don't figure it out. So Barclay's the one to figure it out, and they're like, huzzah! Barclay is happy. And then he goes back to the holodeck crew, and he says, I got to leave you. And he says, delete all the holodeck programs. Wait, hold on. Leave horny Troy on here. The end. And he doesn't say horny Troy, but like,
It's all but that.
I think we can assume that's what it was.
Except that one.
Except that one.
But where was B.A. Baracus, Templeton Peck, and Hannibal?
Mm-hmm.
I kept waiting.
Okay, Worf.
Okay, that's true. Wait. Which one's
Picard.
Worf? Which one's Worf, Joe?
The black guy. What are we doing here? Worf. Picard is Hannibal. And
whose face?
Riker.
Riker is face.
Okay.
Riker is absolutely face.
And then we just spray paint the Enterprise black with a red racing stripe.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
It'd be awesome.
How does that van get constantly destroyed in every episode?
It never gets destroyed in an episode.
Not destroyed,
once.
but it gets like shot at.
No, it doesn't. Not the A-Team van. It gets shot at occasionally, but usually they're firing first.
That's one of my favorite things about the A-Team is the implied violence, but it's not overt.
They never
you never
really
see
show
anybody get shot or killed.
But they are
just
shooting people up nonstop.
No show ever shot more people and didn't show it than the A-Team.
Gentlemen, are we doing an A-Team review for our next show?
Yes.
Yeah.
All 5 seasons, which means 460 episodes, right? Because it was back in that time frame. Actually, I'm kind of curious how long their seasons were. First season was only
I think they had
13 episodes.
They're regular episodes. I think
I think they were 28
something.
Let's see. Let me see. Second season was 23.
Patreon idea. Once in a while, get an old random show and review an episode.
In real time.
Yes.
All right. So anyways, there's like
a Mystery Science Theater 3000.
There's like 120 episodes of A-Team is what it boiled down.
They had to have 100% syndication.
Well, that's not bad.
That's not bad. It's not bad at all. All right. So we got Barclay here, gentlemen. What do you think of Barclay?
I wouldn't like him either.
He's a nervous Nelly.
So here's my question. He came to the Enterprise because he was highly suggested by the other ship. Do you think the other ship was trying to get rid of him?
Oh, come on, Nick. Yeah, of course they were.
You think?
Do you think that's all it was? Because Picard's like, oh, well, he's got high recommendations from the ship. They loved him. They didn't want to give him up.
Oh, yeah. It's 100%. I've done that in my world, too.
But it's never said, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
They never actually say that.
No, they never said that because, Starfleet's so evolved. They wouldn't do that.
You can't be mean to someone like that, right? It's not okay. It's not okay.
So he was Murdoch.
98 episodes for A-Team, just for the record.
Only 98.
I thought you said it was 120.
I
just
lied.
2 seconds ago.
I was going by. I was mathing in my head, and the mathing didn't work.
Oh. Do you think they just grandfathered him in? 98? Close enough.
We'll round.
Mm-hmm.
Because it made syndication, didn't it?
Yeah. That's how I thought it was on midday, like a lot of times when
Yeah.
you're at school.
I found Barclay to be Murdoch in space.
Yeah, he was oddly sympathetic at the same time.
See, I didn't.
Oddly.
I couldn't stand.
No, I couldn't stand him. Don't get me wrong, but
stand Barkley.
There was something about it where you're like, you kind of want to get him. You were kind of rooting to get his shit straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit, right?
Every time he's like late or screw something up, and
he kept shooting himself in the foot, like when Jordy's like, "Be here at this time.
Yeah.
Don't be any late."
Yeah.
And he shows up 5 minutes late to it.
I felt really bad when I genuinely kind of felt awkward and kind of cringe, I guess is what you say. In the scene where they're like going over the solutions and Wesley gives out the solution. He's like, "Yeah, I was gonna do that." I was like,
that was first season Wesley.
Yeah, it was the most first season Wesley since the first season.
Well, and I don't like how
he was
Wesley,
like, "You could do this, this, and this." And he was like, I was gonna do that.
I did feel bad for him in that scene because Wesley in that scene is overstepping your bounds. Like, shut up, let this guy finish talking.
He's a lieutenant, for the love of God.
You're constantly interrupting him, right? If you didn't interrupt him, he was going to say that.
I don't know that he was, but I did feel bad.
Well, you think in an evolved situation, Wesley would let this guy, because they weren't in a time crunch at that point, I don't think, let this guy work through what he was trying to say, because obviously he has a development or whatever need it is. The evolved species of human at that point would be like, you go ahead and say your piece.
Right.
But Wesley is
how old is he? 16? This is why I'd want to drive with 87-year-olds.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a bad argument for that. Yeah, I didn't like what they did with Wesley in this episode. But I think the juxtaposition is supposed to be, here's a young person who's confident in themselves, so they get the respect. You automatically assume you should get respect because you're a commander or a lieutenant, and that doesn't work that way. You still got to earn that respect in how you talk.
I don't think he ever thought he deserved that respect. I don't think he thought he deserved it at all.
Right, he wasn't worth. But what I mean by that is the people will treat you the way you think you deserve to be treated, kind of a thing, right? Like, Wesley was so confident, so people are like, well, this kid obviously knows what he's doing. We're going to respect him. But Barkley, stumbling around, doesn't think he's worthwhile, but is really smart. But they all treat him like he's a dummy because he's not confident.
Was it season 1? Was it Jordy that was in charge and he was like, he wasn't confident?
Yep.
Yes.
And they didn't respect. There was like no respect, and there was no like real power behind his commands. Right. And then once, who did he talk to?
It was the Battle Bridge and the guy at Tactical.
Yeah. And he basically said, like, you have to be a little more authoritative. And you have to have a little more power behind.
Yeah,
have confidence in the commands that you're giving.
Oh, it might have been Troy.
I think it was Troy.
Yeah, because he went to them and they're like, they're not. What does the crew think? And they're like, bro, they don't trust you.
Yeah.
And she gave him a little talking to. Yeah.
I was reminded of that a little bit.
Yeah.
Good pull.
Thank you.
Good pull indeed.
I remember the episodes that I watch.
As a commanding officer in the 24th century, Riker wasn't sympathetic to him either.
No, he was kind of a dick.
Yeah.
To be quite frank, I didn't like the way he was acting in this episode. He was kind of a dick.
Yeah.
Well,
and they didn't establish prior concerns before this to
right. I mean,
it's like this is the first time he's meeting this guy, and he just decides he sucks.
I'm assuming it's not the first time, but I mean,
they didn't establish that.
They didn't establish that, but so it gives you the impression like, God, he's really hard on this guy, like right off the bat. But then I was thinking like, well, he's probably had to deal with him at some point along the line, and he's seen this pattern of behavior before.
I don't know, as an EXO, you got to be a little sometimes abrasive or harsh or whatever it is. But again, they didn't
do a good job of establishing that beforehand.
100%.
Yeah.
So he did come off as probably more of a dick than the writers intended.
Yeah.
But this is also reflective of the fact that you're on the flagship of Starfleet, of the Federation, right? Like, the Enterprise is the top ship, and we don't have time for officers who haven't figured their crap out, right? So there's a little bit of you're on the ship, so if you can't figure it out, you can get off, right? We'll transfer you in a heartbeat. So I guess I get a little bit, like, if you're on a military ship, the XO and the CO might treat you the exact same way. They don't care if it's the first time they met you or the 100th time you met you. If you're showing up late constantly and you're being a joke.
can't
I thought
imagine.
Picard was the one just like, hey, I need you to work with him.
I don't know. Picard called him Lieutenant Broccoli to his face.
Well, how many
Yeah.
times have you been? Someone says a nickname for somebody at work, and you're like, all right, I cannot say that, and you're like, don't say that name around me because I'm going to call them that. But you never called them that. But all of a sudden, you're like, hey,
What's up, CEO Numbnuts?
yeah, what's up, Zippy, or whatever the heck the nickname might be, and you're like, I've never said that before, and here he is in front of me.
See,
I feel like Rob.
I've
He's
never
a
done that.
recovering coke addict.
Like those Freudian slips, like it's like the same thing where like in movies they call it the wrong name in the bedroom. Like I've never had that happen. Like
That
no one ever
surprises-
calls
that-
out my name. That's part of the problem.
That surprises me. Although you've been like you've said that you've just only been with your wife like for a long time, so I could see like there's nothing in there to slip. But just listening to you speak, just listening to you speak for the last 3 years, it would surprise me. 4 years, I would be shocked if you
Said
got
wrong
it right all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We didn't mention this is 4 years of keeping up the Cardassians.
Oh, Franklin.
Oh, crappy anniversary to you guys.
Yeah.
Crappy anniversary.
Anyway, we'll go to that later.
Is it officially? It's 4 years, right?
4 years.
Halloweenish.
Yeah, right before Halloween. It was like the 28th.
Well, 4 years for Rob and I.
Oh,
So
stupid.
We'll let you know when it's your turn.
Oof. Barf.
End of November, early December. We'll get back to you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
You guys finish up that Penguin series. And
We actually
Let me know
are
how it is.
quite behind, just for the record. Quite behind, sir.
I started watching.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Star Trek. Then we can talk about that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Barkley. Back to Barkley. Okay.
Broccoli.
Lieutenant Broccoli. So, some of the scenes are pretty hilarious when they go to find Barkley and on the holodeck, and Riker's like, "Cancel the program," and Troy's like, "No,
Oh,
that
yes.
might crush him." And then they walk into the goddess of, what did they call her? The goddess of something, goddess of empathy, and she wants to cancel it.
Come to me.
Yeah, come to me. Cast aside your masks and let me slip into your mind. Okay, that's very.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
sure.
What's up?
I'm in.
Yeah. But yeah, and she immediately wants to cancel it, and Riker's like, "Never mind, let's keep it going." To be fair, Riker's wasn't even that bad. All he did was make him short.
And the high pitched voice.
And
Hey.
high pitched voice, which good job on Jonathan Frakes' part to
I'm
make
sure
that
they
voice.
did some audio work behind
I
that.
don't know.
You don't think so?
I think that was just his voice. He just went higher pitched like this, or something like that. But Deanna, I could see Deanna being upset. He basically had her there as a sex object, and Riker's like, "Hold on, I endorse this."
Yeah.
Right?
Scumbag.
Yeah.
Scumbag shit.
Yeah.
As he does.
He was just arguing her point.
Yeah, but
Are you talking about the scene where like they were like
on
gonna
the
ask?
holodeck,
Yeah.
yep.
He's like,
Yeah.
oh, now he's fine now.
Oh, now you want to delete
Well,
it.
he was probably excited to see what would happen with holodeck Troy. Like, is she gonna like take off her clothes in front? Like, that's probably what he was waiting for.
It was a scummy scene.
It was a
It-
scummy scene, but that's what Riker
That's two
does.
strikes.
But it was funny.
He's got the bar scene, and now this scene.
I don't know. The bar scene we probably took back from you after the conversation.
No, I stand my
after
ground.
the text from Charles. We got.
No, he's a listener. What does he know?
That's a good point. Okay,
It's a good point.
that's a good
Jesus.
point. That's a good point. Our listeners
I think
are
Charles was right.
I love you, Charles.
I think Charles was right.
You
muzzled.
would. Eh,
Yeah.
you don't think he's right. Charles, he doesn't think you're right.
Riker did nothing wrong.
Yeah. Well, how about this exchange between Barkley? I was looking up some quotes. Barkley said he's trying to have a heart-to-heart with LaForge, and he's like, "I'm the guy who writes down things to remember to say when there's a party, and then when he finally gets there, he winds up alone in the corner trying to look comfortable examining a potted plant." And Geordi, instead of being like, "I'm sorry," he goes, "You're just shy." No, this man clearly has a social, like,
And he didn't say it like this. You're just shy, Barkley.
just shy. Sounds like nothing serious, doesn't it? You can't know. And he walks away from him.
Barkley would fit right in today's society.
Yes, he would.
Today's society caters to people like Barkley.
Oh my gosh. Okay, boomer. Why don't you just
Rob,
wear-
where do you stand?
Snowflakes.
Bam.
I just wanted to say that so bad.
No, I'm somewhat sympathetic to people who
Absolutely.
have social anxiety, but
somewhat.
that's true. But there is a point where a lot of people let that become their identity. They never make an earnest effort to overcome that. They let society cater to their social anxiety instead of making a little bit of an effort to overcome, because things keep going. Life keeps going. There's gonna be thousands of situations where you're either gonna feel uncomfortable, or you're not gonna feel perfectly at ease, or you're gonna be in a situation where you're gonna need to speak when maybe you're not as confident. And these aren't unique. These happen to everybody.
Yeah.
Very few, I would argue very, very few people have the confidence that people with social anxiety think they do.
Yeah.
There are very few people who are like, "Oh, I need to speak in public." Fine, let's go. Roll the tape. Like, it's fine. It's
There's
fine.
a lot more people who are nervous about it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
and
it's not-
secretly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. Yeah.
But at the same time, I get it. It is a thing. I don't. I'm never thrilled to speak in front of groups of people, but I do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to do things.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I never want to, but sometimes you got to do it.
Yeah.
You know what's so funny is when I was going to school and everything, I was more anxious about, like, I would have my professor sitting there and it would just be my professor and they'd be like, okay, you're going to read your sermon out loud to me. You're going to give me your sermon, right? That made me more nervous than having 100, 150, 200 people watching me. If it's one person watching me and I have to give the message, creepy.
Okay.
But the more people, it's better.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
Does it have to do with the fact that the person that the professor is seen as somebody who has an
Higher
elevated
insight, yeah.
has more insight, or an elevated insight or knowledge as
And
to
experience.
and they're looking at you in a critiquing manner, whereas if you're preaching into a congregation of 100, they're just looking at you, listening,
Yeah, and I'm just like, they're idiots.
Well,
they don't know what they're talking about.
But I mean,
I
they're
know what you mean, though.
the way that they're listening to you is different than a professor.
They're not doing it with a critical lens.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, even
Yeah,
on a
it's more of a softer audience.
well, even on a
That
lesser
could be
scale, have you ever tried to type in front of somebody, and you just
Yes.
keep screwing up, and you
Yes.
would never screw up when you're typing
Yeah.
by yourself?
Yes.
100%.
All the time.
It's just one of those weird things where it just happens. Like if you're on a Teams meeting and you're sharing your screen, and you're like, I gotta find the unmute button. I can't find the
I
unmute
gotta
button.
close all the porn. Like,
Yeah.
it's you.
And you forget to
gotta
close
get
the
it
porn.
closed. You gotta get it closed.
You gotta.
You gotta put it in incognito mode. You gotta close that tab. Alt F4, baby. Come on.
Nick, you didn't close a certain tab. You might want to do that before you share your screen again.
Oops. Sorry about that, guys.
And wear your pants.
When I'm in that situation.
Sorry. I thought
Whoopsie.
this Zoom meeting was from the waist up. My apologies. Yes. Well, Nick, it is from the waist up, but you're just showing us from the waist down. So if you could raise your camera, we'd appreciate that.
Captain Nemo's poking out here.
Sorry, guys. Anything else from Hollow Pursuits?
I really thought Dwight Schultz did a great job.
Yeah.
Even I think he's a fantastic actor. I know we joke about him being, Murdoch in space or whatever, but the way that he plays Murdoch, if you never watch the 18, he's basically a different character every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's fantastic.
Yep.
He's a fantastic actor. And I thought his portrayal of
And this was like a neurotic Murdoch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I could see this being like actual Murdoch, whereas in the 18, Murdoch is like he's a different guy. Like, we need you to be this kind of person every week. Like, we need you to be a little bit. I could see this being his true personality.
Yeah.
Like,
And then they make him less crazy in season 5.
You know what's kind of
and then the show ended.
You know what's interesting to me is like, so A-Team ended in 1987, and he was Murdoch for 97 of those 98 episodes. So apparently there's an episode where he's not in it. I didn't know that. And for the next couple of years, he didn't really do anything. The next thing he did he did a Perry Mason thing for 2 episodes. A Killer Among Us, another television show, and then Star Trek was his next thing.
He's typecast as Murdoch.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Right, and even
We see it. I joked about it, but is essentially Murdoch in space.
well, and I'm looking at his career, and it looks like he tries to maintain a normal career, but then he becomes a popular video game voice actor in the 90s.
Good way to go.
The late 90s, he gets in the video games. Or not, video games and cartoons, I'm sorry. But yeah, you're right. He was absolutely typecast because you would think he would have more of a career based off of what he did in the A-Team, but not really. Like, that was his last major television role.
Well, on top of that, he didn't have like your atypical Hollywood looks.
No, he was a very average-looking guy. Not to knock him, but
no, it's just the fact of we talking to Nana last week. We know kind of if he didn't fit in that box, he wasn't getting cast.
I mean, in '89, he was in Fat Man and Little Boy, where he played Oppenheimer.
Interesting.
It's a Paul Newman movie, but that was kind of it.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't really do much. So, all right, ready to move on to Most Toys? Most Toys. Data's working with this trader Fajo.
Trader Joe.
Trader Joe.
Trader Fajo. And they're all fascinated by him, and they're scanning him, and then they turn him off. And then on the Starship Enterprise, they're watching as Data's ship explodes, and the trader comes back on. He's like, "Hey, what happened? Why did it explode?" And they're like, "I don't know." And he's like, "Did you save Data?" And they're like, "No, he dead." And the trader's like, we sad." So Enterprise flies away, all upset because Data's dead. Well, the trader actually kidnapped Data. He's a collector of rare things that you can only get one of. So he wants to keep Data. And Fajo, Trader Fajo, is kind of a jerk face. He's not very nice. He's mean to him all the time. He doesn't have any emotions. And he's like, "I'm keeping you. You don't have a choice." And Data's like, "I want to leave." And he's like, "Nah, you can't." In fact, no one can leave. Even Varia, my assistant, can't leave. And Varia and Data are having a conversation, and Data's like, "So you're basically a possession too?" And she's like, "Nah, I'm not." But then she realizes she is, and she decides to help Data escape from the ship. But as she's trying to help him escape from the ship, Fajo kills Data, or Varia, whatever her name is, Vario. I like how both of you are just playing on your phones as I'm trying to sum up this show.
We
it's
watched
hard
the
for me
show.
to focus on this while this is happening.
How is it harder for you to focus when we're out of the way?
It doesn't. I just like attention on me at all times.
I knew we had 5
You
minutes.
guys are just fine. I just think it's funny because I said the name wrong and like no one's correcting me on it. And then
we'll let you go.
Both
We're just letting you go.
Okay. So anyways, all this is happening while the Enterprise, Geordi's all upset. He's like, "Nah, Data, this can't be right. Data didn't die." And Picard's like, "Get over it." Worf's now in his station, but he calls Worf, just like he called Barclay broccoli, he calls Worf Data. This is a crappy captain. He needs to get his act together.
You would do it too.
Yeah, everyone would do it. But it turns out that they discovered that Data doesn't make mistakes, and there's something more here. And then they realize Data was captured. So back on that ship, Data's about to kill Fajo, Trader Fajo. But right at that moment, he gets beamed off the ship, and they're like, "You were going to kill him, weren't you?" Riker says. And he's like, "No, must have been a malfunction in the transporter." End of episode.
Real quick, what I was reading when you were going through your 5 minutes.
It wasn't 5 minutes.
Rundown.
It was a minute.
I hate saying this, but Sean's right. You take too long to sum up these episodes. You give too much out of it. You give too much information. You got to sum it up.
You know, Sean is right. I was
No.
thinking about replacing someone on the show. How dare you, sir?
Actually, he's not right.
British actor David Rappaport was the first actor chosen to play the role of Fajo. But he attempted suicide over the weekend, the days before filming, and had to be replaced.
Okay.
The script was that bad?
Did you watch it?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And there's actually a photo of him in the makeup. Out
Oh,
there.
right.
I thought that was like a before and after photo.
Yeah, so that was weird. That was what I was reading as you were, judging.
Chastising you?
Yeah,
Who was the guy who played Fajo?
I don't care.
Was he just like a typical like screen, like a
Somebody with a
television
happy
actor.
disposition, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he was. He was a happy. He was a
Well,
happy
they had to
panda.
get him. The last guy tried to kill himself.
I don't think
Yeah, you do. You wanna
culture change.
you want to bring on someone who has a good mood because this guy's gonna kill himself. What is his name? Nehemiah Persop? No, he played Toth. Fajo was Saul Rubinek,
Nailed it. Yeah.
which
that guy.
I've seen him in other stuff. He's
Yes.
been in quite a bit of
I
other
I
things.
just don't know what.
I will tell you what he's been in. Let's see. I'm trying to find one of the more popular movies he's been in because, like, when you see his face, like, I'm immediately like, yes, I've seen that guy in stuff before.
I haven't.
Yes, you have.
Looks like Mandy Patinkin a little bit.
Kind of. He was in Schitt's Creek, Hunter's Billions, The Last Tycoon, Warehouse 13. He was a regular on Warehouse 13.
No one's ever seen that.
He was in. Gosh, there's got to be more stuff.
Well,
I mean, he's been in a lot of stuff though, so I think he's just a recognized.
He's just a face.
Oh, he was in Frasier as Donnie Douglas for 15 episodes.
I think that's where we all saw him.
He was in Ink
Probably.
for 22 episodes. He was in The Outer Limits on an episode there.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go.
Okay.
So he's been in stuff. Is all I'm saying.
Sure. He's been in a lot of stuff.
He's been in a lot of stuff. Yes. Yes. I mean, he's been in some big movies too. Like he was in Wall Street. You don't want. Okay, fine.
Wall
I'll
Street
stop
was-
telling you the movies. You get so pissy over there. I'm just trying to set the tone,
Yeah,
and
stop.
you got to be a prick face.
Yeah, stop
I do.
it.
Because people kind of want to. The three that listen to us want to listen to us talk about the episode.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know exactly what they want to listen to at all times.
What I get called? The reasonable one, or what was that?
I don't know.
By Charles.
What did he call
Well,
Nick?
Joke's on you because
Son
you're
of a
being
bitch.
very unreasonable right now, sir.
Oh, if I
was
was bored,
setting the tone.
All right.
I
I'm
don't-
going back on my phone.
So Saul Rubinek is Fajo. All right. Yeah, he played the character well, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I hated him the whole time.
I hated him too.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
like he was just there was nothing redeeming about this guy.
Although he did have a cool baseball card.
He did have a
That
very
Roger Maris,
that
though?
Roger Maris,
Yeah.
only one ever made or something like that.
only one
Well,
left.
the only one left.
Only one left.
62 Roger Maris. It smells like bubblegum.
Yeah,
I preserve the smell.
He had me at
Reserve.
that point.
I know.
that's pretty cool actually.
Mm.
It is weird to think about, like, you know, let's say 800 years from now, someone finds a baseball card and they're like, "What the heck is this?" Right? Like,
Well, you could tell it's Michael Piller who had, wrote Ben Sisko's hobbies too.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Definitely an influence there.
mm-hmm.
I like that the not juxtaposition but the parallels of him showing Data all of his toys
Yeah.
and all of his possessions.
Yeah.
And then they cut to I think it was Wesley and Jordy where they were going through his things.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
and they were all like they weren't toys but they were pieces of that, like the hologram from
They were sentimental value
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
so they were still items that he kept because he loved them.
hmm
And all his medals, the hologram, and there was one other thing.
And he had the book that was
Yeah.
open to that one page.
From Picard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay. I see. It was a neat little parallel. Like,
That even the android can value these things.
or
Mhm.
that we all. There's some of what. What's the character? I always forget the character's name. The guy.
Frail.
Yeah,
Fajo?
Fajo.
Hello, mother. Hello, Fajo.
There you go. But
Fajo?
there's a little bit of that in all of us. We all
Oh,
have,
for sure.
and I mean, I think of the three of us. Rob and I have more of the collector gene, right?
I have a lot of Detroit Tigers stuff.
Do you?
But that's what I'm saying. Like everybody, I
Really?
think everybody has a little bit of that in them.
If you go into the room that used to be Yuzuka's bedroom, now it's all Tiger stuff again.
Really?
Tons of stuff.
You ship the German kid out,
Yeah.
put Tiger stuff back in there. It's
Tiger
good.
stuff is back in there. No more exchange students in that bedroom.
Oh.
Yeah, just pictures of baseball stuff.
Stuff we liked.
Yeah. Kirk
We-
Gibson stuff, autographed.
Oh, nice.
I got like L. K-Line autographed jersey hung up in there. Yeah, I got a lot.
Look at you.
I'm proud of you for having some nerdy stuff in there. Or not? That's actually not nerdy. Typical. That's
It
just
is.
sports stuff.
But that's
I like,
nerdy stuff.
I like to collect stuff. It just depends. I collect fingernails from strangers.
All right.
It got weird.
I've collected
in record time.
used socks from people.
Oh wow, that's true. Actually,
I keep them in jars. So
I like the smell.
I preserve the
I
smell.
preserve the smell of this sock. So, anyways, yeah, there is some truth to this, like this idea that we're all kind of collectors at heart for something.
Yeah.
Also, Data's decorated AF too.
Yeah, he is.
He's got all. Look, he got a lot of medals.
Yeah, man.
Data's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
And he doesn't brag about it.
No,
he's just an android.
He's humble.
There was a lot of shock factor from Jordy and Wesley when they pulled that out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He never shows them receipts, to let people know he really knows what's going on.
Yeah.
You got to show those receipts. You got to show it to meetings and be like, listen to me. Bam! Just open his coat like a watch sales guy. It's just all metal.
He just points to his collar and says, look at the pips.
Oh.
Look at the pips.
Yeah, pipsqueak.
Well, ho! Well done, sir, because the pipsqueak, I get it. Whoop. So there's not really a lot to this episode, though, because the conversations between Fajo and Data aren't really... Fajo's like, you're mine now, so you better learn to like it. And Data's like, no, I should be able to be free. And that's like just the back and forth the whole time.
I know, it's the most calm captive in prison. Like,
I know.
Well, he captured the right guy, because you can imagine Worf in that scenario.
Oh, he'd be dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Worf will be stuck because he ripped the limbs off the only guy that can get him out.
And then beat him with them.
Exactly. So, I mean,
is this like a comment on capitalism or something? Is it there's like social commentary here, or is it just a story they wanted to tell?
No, it feels like there was some argument back and forth. Like one of the writers said this was designed to like poke at Star Trek fans, and then multiple people said no, it absolutely was not designed to poke at Star Trek fans.
They must be Star Trek fans.
Yeah. Like what was the line that someone said? Give me a second. I'm gonna find it here. Oh, I can't.
I'm gonna find it up in here.
Can't believe I lost it. I had it for a second and then it was gone.
Yeah, I
totally
can't believe it. Cannot believe it.
I can't believe it's not butter.
I mean, I think there is some truth to that. The idea of capitalism, the need to collect things to show your wealth, like becomes your sense of joy rather than like he's not collecting these things because he actually enjoys them. He's collecting those things because the position it puts him in with other people.
Yeah,
people
the
look
stature.
on him, but it's not about the object. Like when you guys collect what you collect, you don't collect them because you're like, people will think I'm amazing because of this. Like,
I do.
collect them because you enjoy it.
Yeah.
I collect records now because I enjoy it. I collect the Tiger memorabilia because it's something I enjoy. I want to be able to say I have that stuff. I collect fingernails because I think I like to suck on the fingernails.
Jesus.
I know. I'm like, what is the most disgusting thing I can say about
I think you nailed it.
fingernails?
You
that
nailed
work?
it.
Did that
But
work?
it's like you.
Can you imagine? Oh gosh,
Well,
what
it's
a
like-
disgusting habit that would be.
It would be pretty rough. But like collecting things like so I got comic books on the wall, right? We'll use that as an example. It connects me to my youth and it connects me to now. It's something I enjoy and it connects me to my daughter. So it's a whole different kind of collecting now.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of interesting how it all morphs. You got some things because of nostalgia. You got some things because it's just something you enjoy, and you got some things that are a little bit of everything kind of mixed in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think, because I was thinking about this from the collector's point of view, do you think that maybe like a generation or two ago, that the feeling of nostalgia and the desire to collect things because of how heavy the nostalgia factor was prevalent then as it is now?
I don't, for some reason. I was thinking about that the other day. I don't at all, actually. I think that a lot of that older generation, like if I think about my dad's people who are his age, there's like no nostalgia collecting thing from them at all.
Are you kidding? They collect like coins and stamps, bro.
No.
Yeah, but those are. I guess I see your point, but those are like.
Definitely not to the level I think some cats like collect Star Wars figures.
Yeah, and
I think that's a newer thing that was created with the more recent generation.
But so
I think collecting is more of a reflection on disposable income rather than it is on desire.
No, not disposable.
No, there's some truth to that, right? Like I get
Some
you
irresponsible spending.
still, right? Like we have all this money left over. What are we going to spend it on? Well, should I invest it in my 401k? I could, but this Batmobile 1989
I
looks pretty
bring
amazing.
6 figures
Wait,
home.
where is it?
I
What are you talking about?
don't know what you're talking
But
about.
I wonder the psychology of it all, because like I still, if I see G.I. Joes,
Mhm.
I love G.I. Joes to this day. The
Yeah.
comic book, the figures, the
You
new
like to
ones.
touch them.
I do.
Play with them.
But what's the psychology of that
Yeah,
versus
like-
what it used to be?
So like what
Dude.
you were talking about, it like connects you to your youth, and it
Yeah.
connects you to a
Is it
like a simpler time when you were younger, and
but is it escapism now, or is it just something that it's just?
but did those feelings, thoughts, and feelings go through our grandfathers or our fathers' heads when they were
Yeah.
collecting coins or stamps, or was just like, oh, this is something this is something adults do.
Yeah, like when my dad sees like a tablet somewhere with chiseled in words, does he go, "Oh, it reminds me of my childhood"?
You can't take pop shots at your dad like that.
All right, here we go. In a study, 94% of Gen Z and millennials said they're interested in collectibles, ranking watches, jewelry, and wine spirits highly. As the age group gets older, the interest declined, with just 80% of Gen X, 50% of baby boomers, and 55% of the silent generation being interested in collectibles.
Okay, so the drop between Gen X and baby boomers is 30%.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge drop.
Mm-hmm. Among young investors, 39% they consider sentimental value of an investment to be of significant interest, while only 6% of older investors said the same in collectibles.
Is it because they had to work in the mines at a young age?
I think it's because they were. I mean, I think to a degree that it's because they were
Forced
that
to grow up
generation.
faster?
What?
Forced to grow up faster?
Well, they were forced to grow up faster, but they were also forced to suppress a lot of their emotions and feelings.
Yeah, exactly.
You would almost think if they were forced to grow up faster, that their need for nostalgia would be more.
But but when you combine that with the societal pressure of especially men to suppress any sort of feelings
and to grow up and to be
be a man, and then be a provider, like this is all old school. It doesn't that mentality doesn't allow for the whimsy, the inherent whimsy of collecting things.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know what you mean.
There is a certain juvenile nature to collecting.
Oh, it sure is.
And society doesn't look as they look at it with a bit more of a fonder eye now than they did a generation or two ago.
Yeah. Heck, 10, 20 years ago, probably even.
Yeah.
Remember the
come to my toy room, lady.
What was the Beanie Babies? That was huge in the 90s, like with older
my friend
with the boomer generation.
If you combine that with the advent of eBay.
Yes.
And it was
And so accessibility probably comes into play as well, because now you had eBay, you had collectible stocks.
Yes.
I think, I actually just
Target. Goddamn Target and white women.
I connected some dots here. I think psychologically there's an impact on the rise of physical media, the collection of VHS tapes, the collection of CDs, how they became affordable and easier to get. You would collect those and collect those and collect those, and it creates like this endorphin boost in your brain, right? Like anytime you get a new movie or a new CD, you're pumped about it.
Yeah.
I wonder if that somehow impacts it. It's like, well, I used to collect movies and now I don't really collect those anymore. So what else am I going to collect? Oh, here we go. Here's something else I can collect.
You almost need that fix.
Yeah.
Your brain, your body craves and requires the dopamine, and you need to get it from somewhere.
Right. Like the quicker I can get it, the better. That's even the rise of movies like Joker 2, right? You used to have to wait at least a year to see those on VHS. At one point, it was longer than that, and then it was a year, and then it was 6 months, and now it's like 30 days.
And to that point, retail therapy. It's a term for a reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this character is suffering from retail therapy.
Yes.
He just likes to collect.
With him, I think he feels insufficient unless he has these possessions.
Well, think about it. When that guy comes to visit and Data pretends to not exist, the guy is crushed, and his guest is like, "I'm still having a great time. I don't know why you're all upset, but this guy is crushed because this was important for his status."
I liked when he fell. What did he say? He fell. He fell nicely, or he fell.
Yeah, he falls great or something.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Because he felt really stiff, and it was hilarious when that guy said
I
the
thought it
headline.
was very subtle, and I'm surprised it came from a Star Trek writer who was that clever to turn that phrase.
Yeah.
Did you notice that guy also like in the background picking his nose? Like at one point, like he had multiple
Yeah.
holes and he was like picking out, like he was literally like
Oh
picking
my
his
God.
nose.
Yeah.
To show like how they're depraved, not good people, I guess.
Wow.
I don't know. It's interesting.
Sorry to all you nose pickers out there.
So at the end,
Our audience, we probably have a lot
at the end of this episode,
a ton.
the biggest part of this episode is Vario dies, right, trying to save Data, and Data pulls the gun on Fajo, and Fajo's like, "You're not going to kill me," but Data pulls the phaser in that moment, and then he gets beamed over. So this is kind of like Schrodinger's Data right here, right? Did Data pull the gun, or did he pull the trigger, or did he not? Was he going to murder that man?
He both did and did not pull
He
the
both
trigger,
did.
and he murdered and did not murder that guy.
And can you consider? Well, yeah, it is murder because the man is defenseless. He's standing there. He's been caught at that.
Yeah,
point.
that's murder. I mean, he didn't.
Right. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But like, it seemed like Data pulled the trigger. It seemed like he was going to kill the man, unless
That's fine.
he was
I'm fine
trying
with
to
it.
shoot by him to scare
Nah.
him.
Kill him. It's fine.
But Data doesn't do that.
But he did it.
Data's not.
Well,
dictated
Data's
by-
processing all the information given to him, so just like we would in our mind, and would the elimination, because Data's not vengeful, it doesn't have that emotion.
Shoot first, process later.
But he could also say, in the need to preserve more life, I need to end his life.
That could have
because
been
he's
the
hurting
reasonable
other people.
assumption out of
Needs
that.
of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Yeah.
Right? So that could have been part of it. I just feel like that would go against everything Data stands for.
So I enjoyed that they left it just the air there.
Yeah.
Right. I
Although
did like
he's
that.
always trying to, he's trying to replicate the full human experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to shoot somebody. That's part of the
That's
human
true.
experience. You got to shoot somebody.
I've shot 3 people today.
And you took their fingernails.
Exactly.
That's why you carry the clippers with you all the time.
Exactly. You got to come prepared, man. You gotta come
Is that
prepared.
chloroform? Cool.
It smells funny in here.
Well, and at the end too, when the guy says to him like, "You're enjoying this," and Data makes a comment like, "Nah, I'm an android or whatever," but it seemed
Yeah.
like there's almost like a little smirk there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just because you don't have emotion doesn't mean you don't understand how emotion works.
Oh,
Well,
it
we
doesn't
see it too.
Well,
We
he
see
also
him.
he also understands the guy's getting his just dessert. How do you like them apples, buddy?
Yeah. But I mean, we
that,
do.
But that is revenge.
Yeah.
How do you like them apple? Right?
Well,
like that.
Data's not saying that, but he's processing, going, "I'm glad you're having experienced this as well."
But I mean, we do see Data get more information about emotions and feelings and the human experience over these 2.5 seasons.
Mhm.
So he's not the exact. He's not. I don't think he's as rigid of a android as he used to be. He's
Well, right. He lied to Riker.
he's
Allegedly.
becoming a little more.
He lied to Riker.
We don't know if it went off.
What? If what?
I guess
The gun.
we technically
Oh.
don't.
We
because
don't.
We never saw him push down, did
Nope.
we?
We did not.
We just saw him raise the gun and
And it was
laser again.
It was an old disruptor, which could have been triggered by the transporter.
Could have been triggered by.
I like to live in a world where he shot him.
I do too. I'm just saying
I don't.
they left it open air for that
well,
debate
you wouldn't.
for that debate to be able to happen on a podcast 40 years later.
Yeah, I know. It's a good ending to the episode. It's a good ending to a very
Yeah.
mediocre episode.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Yes.
I just don't think they sold the conflict well. I think they did a good job with Geordi and him having a hard time. Him dreaming about Data. Ooh. But
If your best friend just died, you'd have the
and him
dreams.
hyper fixating on him and Picard being like, "You got to let it go," but it still clearly is bugging Picard too. But he's the captain of the ship; he cannot show that to his
Yeah.
crew.
If you guys died, I'd probably dream about you guys.
You probably would.
I dream about you as is.
Because you're gonna kill me and take my fingernails. Keep
He's
it
actually
short.
been looking at your fingernails this entire time.
I know. I'm
You know
like
what?
clenching my fists.
I comment on your soft hands.
I know.
He just wants the nails.
Yeah. Oh gosh,
I'm not
there
creep-
probably are serial killers who collect like fingernails.
Oh, I have no doubt.
They're
But
probably not even serial killers. They're probably just weirdos who like will wait until someone like
Dude,
clips their nails and
there's all
goes by.
kinds of fetishes
Oh,
out there.
Gosh, there's some weird.
If you know anybody that has a fingernail fetish,
734-494-0980. Tell us today.
or tell us your weird fetish.
Is it toenails? Is it pinky nails? Is it thumbs? Tell us all about your fetish. Speaking of fetishes,
If we actually get a call on that one, that'll be hilarious.
Do you guys want some breaking news?
yes,
Yes. We do need that soundbite.
Our podcast has been approved for media passes for Motor City Comic Con coming up next weekend.
Oh, yeah, buddy. Let me see that hand.
No. I want to keep my nails. I'd like to keep them.
What's the email say there, Mr. Joe?
It says, thank you for your interest in Motor City Comic Con. You have been approved for 2 press passes to cover Motor City Comic Con November
Awesome.
8th through the 10th, 2024 at the Suburban Collection Showplace in Novi, Michigan.
That is awesome.
That is pretty awesome.
That is awesome. You two should do it.
Please note, interviews are not guaranteed. This pass is
it's
for
all
access
3
only.
days, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we can alternate days,
Yeah.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's access only. Interesting.
What do you mean?
He said there's a line in there that says this only grants access.
Right. You can
Well,
go
you're not
up to-
guaranteed interviews. You have the access
Let's go.
if you can get them. You're not guaranteed it.
Are you going to Motor City Comic Con? 734-494-0980.
Wayne Knight is going to be at Motor City Comic Con. Joel McHale.
Joe McHale? Sweet.
Ron Perlman.
I'm getting Joe
Robert
McHale.
Freddy Krueger is going to be there.
Yep.
Robert Englund, John Cusack is going to
George
be there.
Takei.
Andy Serkis, Gollum is going to be there.
Jesus Christ.
Barry Bostwick from Spin City. The voices of the Ninja Turtles, John Cleese, Dave Coulier, cut it out.
Oh, dude, can I get that?
Karen Fukuhara, she's in The Boys. Kimiko.
Oh, okay.
Kimiko is going to be there.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
That's a good one.
Oh, wait.
Oh my gosh, is that who I think it is?
Oh, no.
Did you see who it is?
Yeah.
Manny or Alessandro Giuliani?
Go ahead. Well, tell the listeners what we're looking at, please.
Okay, so this is the face
God damn it.
of the favorite character of the gentleman from Battlestar Galactica, one who saw an election was rigged and helped change the result. The one who under oath lied about Gaius Baltar. You know who I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, don't you? Say the name. Say it. I want to hear you
I'll
say
never
it.
speak his name again.
Nope.
I want to hear you say it.
Never heard of it.
I want to hear you say it.
Traitorous son of a bitch.
Yep.
You got to say it.
Battlestar Galactica.
You got to say it.
Which I've never
I
heard
actually
of.
forgot his name.
I did too.
Say
In the
his
show.
name. Say his name.
Oh, it's no.
Guy.
No. I genuinely forgot his name.
Felix Gaeta.
Felix Gaeta.
Gator!
Oh, McLovin is going to be there as well.
Don't care about that.
Did you say Ron Perlman already?
Yes.
Jonathan Rhys-Davis?
No.
Gimli? Alan Ruck?
Okay, that's
Gaeta.
Vincent D'Onofrio was going to be there, but he canceled. Kiefer Sutherland was going to be there, but he canceled as well.
D'Onofrio would have been cool.
I wouldn't want to.
So, Joe.
We're making waves here. We're doing stuff. Podcast is doing stuff.
Good job.
We're doing things.
Yeah. So
you want to rate these episodes, and then we can
Oh
talk
yeah,
about your
I forgot.
one?
10 total between the two.
Okay.
That's I'm close to that. So Howler Pursuits, I give a 6.
I give a 6 as well.
Yeah, 6.
Wow, 666, guys.
It is a Halloween spooky season.
Oh, I forgot that's about Halloween.
Spooky, very spooky. Oh no,
it's a monster.
The most toys.
My middle son Peyton loved that song when he was probably 4 or 5. There's a video of him singing it in shirtless. I love that song because of it.
Yep.
I get that, Eli.
I get it.
What's that? It's a skeleton.
It's a skeleton.
I love that.
The most toys. 5.
I'm lower than that. I'm gonna give it a 4. I said 10 total, so I'm gonna give it a 4. I used 6 on the first episode.
What did you say, Rob?
5 is what I said.
5? Okay. I was a 4.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 10 total. Rob gave them 11 total. So there we go. We're nearing the end of the season, gentlemen.
I was thinking this when I was watching the second episode. This season feels extra long.
Get ready, because we got 4 more like this. Yep, 4 more, actually. Of long.
Doesn't it
26
seem like
episodes.
season 3 has been... We've been going on season 3 forever?
Yeah, it does,
It seems like season 1 and 2 just clicked by.
Because we were trying to kill ourselves.
That's true.
Yeah, because season 1 was 26 episodes. Season 2 was 22. So, I mean, we're back to 26.
Oh, the next one's a good one, I think.
Yeah, Sarek.
Yeah.
Sarek and Menage a Trois.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Menage a Troy.
Huh?
That's really what it's called. Menage a Troy.
Menage a Troy.
Yeah, I'm not joking. It's Menage a Trois.
Nice.
Then after nice. Then after that, we got Transfigurations and The Best of Both Worlds Part 1.
And 2?
No.
Nope, just one.
Scumbags.
Which we're going to have a special guest back for that.
Are we?
Hopefully. I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us.
Well, actually, I got one thing. Joe, you watched some Penguin.
Yes. First episode, very good. Good pacing. I liked it. It's very Sopranos-y.
Yes.
Already. And I didn't even watch The Sopranos. I never watched the full show. I really liked what it set up. I mean, the randomness of the kid, I guess, is whatever.
I'm gonna guess it's a necessary evil by the end of the show.
Yeah. It has good elements of comedy. It makes you both despise and feel sympathetic for the Penguin, for the main character. I would have shot that fucking asshole too.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I would have shot him probably 5 minutes before he did. He was a complete prick.
Yep.
I would probably give episode 1 I give it an 8.
Okay. I forgot what we said.
I was a 9.
I don't know. I didn't listen.
I was.
Did you? So 1 episode or 2? Because I'm only 3 in.
I've watched 1 full one, and I started the second one.
Okay.
But
I enjoyed it.
I did enjoy it too. It. I don't know. There's some of the scene. Every scene with what was it? The Falcone's daughter, right?
Yeah,
or,
Christine.
The mother.
Yeah.
The mother. From How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
Yes. Every scene with her was just super tense.
Yeah.
Did you like her or not? Like,
She's-
did you find that she did a good job?
Oh yeah,
yeah, she does a great job.
I thought she was
I was going to
fantastic.
say she's the highlight of that show for me so far.
And
She's great.
even though I do like the Penguin, I like the character. I like the portrayal. Like I am sympathetic in a way to him, and in a way I root for him.
Isn't the first episode where you meet his mom?
Yes. Yeah.
My little.
Don't say it.
I can't say it, but what she calls him is hilarious.
But at the same time, like
Wussy boy,
wussy
boy, but she doesn't call him a wussy.
Yeah, her character was great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I felt bad for her.
Yeah.
But then I was like, it was really well done. Every scene with the two of them. Even when she showed up in the boardroom.
Oh yeah.
It was real ominous already, and she hadn't even had a line. Like she hadn't even
she just
spoken
walked
anything.
in there.
She has a presence and her body language, her
Yeah.
eye, the way she is killing it.
She plays the psychotic role very well.
Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah.
Good.
Speaking of psychotic, thank you for listening to us today. We
We
appreciate you.
That's actually good.
We love
Check
you
in
all.
with your therapists.
Yep.
Thanks for keeping up with the Cardassians. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Bye.
Years ago, a crack commando unit was sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit. These men promptly escaped from maximum security stockade to the Los Angeles underground. Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the A-Team.